Hi, welcome to Gouache with Anne. Today I'm painting in Montreal. I'm going to start my painting using the gouache as watercolor. I feel like with the silhouette it will be a good way to get this huge shape in place, and I can add various colors into the washes, and that's kind of nice to create colors that are mixing together. I'm trying to keep this the whole big shape, and that includes the figures, so I'm pulling the water down into the figures too, and later I can make them a little bit more accurate when I use the opaque gouache. I can use gouache as watercolor because they're both water-based, and the difference is that gouache is just more pigmented and has a bit of chalk in it, so that makes it opaque. So now I'm going to just add a few little details with the watercolor, and still not going into the gouache yet. I really like the way that the watercolor, or the watery gouache, has faded into the other colors. So, and I decided to do a very light sky because I definitely want that the church tower to show through. So if I get the sky too dark, then it won't stand out as much. So now I'm putting in the gouache, and I decide that I'm just going to do some of the main details of the church, and I'll leave the wash as well so you can see it, because it's very nice, and it's in the background, so the things in the foreground, it will do them more opaque. So I like doing the little details. So here I am just doing the windows. I'm doing little, again, it's the mark making. I just do little marks, and you read it as details on the building and windows, and you don't have to get too accurate. The trees I'll do in different shades. I like using here, I've got some bluey green and the darker, and then I'll have a bit of the lighter green with a bit more yellow in. Still pretty loose. I'll keep it pretty loose because it's in silhouette, so I want all the colors. I don't want any in particular area to stand out. I want them all to be blending together. Because there's so many areas here that are in shadow, some of them I'll be carving out, so I'll do a lot of like negative painting, like here where I bring the tree trunks down and then create kind of just an indication of some of the things that are there. I'm getting in all of the foliage here that is behind, but I'll also go and get the building, and it will kind of blend into the foliage. I don't want it to stand out too much because, again, it's all in silhouette, so the people all will stand out a bit more. In the foreground there's some tables with some running shoes that people are selling, but already I know that when I do that, again, I'll do it just with marks, so you get a general sense of something that's on the table, but it won't be, you won't think, oh, they're running shoes. I'm choosing for this one, even though it's not really purple, I just kind of like to get a dark purple, and then the other building I'll do in a lighter purple. So now I'm just going to do a little bit of around some of those figures in the foreground, and make sure that I have some highlights, the white areas that show that those are windows. So here you can see this is where I'm putting in just some marks to show that there's something on the table, and I don't need to show that they're running shoes. I don't even need to show that it's actually something recognizable. You just look and you think, oh, there's some details on the table. So now on to the second building, and this color I'm going to use will be more of a muted purpley color. Again, I want it to be toned down so that it kind of blends in together, blends into the foliage in the foreground, and then I'll use a few highlights for the windows. I feel like I'm building this painting up by the background, and then one side where the tree is, and now I'll finish off the buildings, and then I'll start working on the figures. Yeah, so here we've got another purple building, purpley pink. Put a few more of the details, just in roughly put them in and make sure I leave some spaces for the windows. I'm looking forward to putting in the red umbrella because it's such a nice feature. It's so bright compared to the rest of the painting, so I think that will look really good. It also is just kind of silhouetting the guy that's in the front, which is kind of nice as well. There's a few signs that are on the side of the street, and I decided I'd put those in because it's kind of nice that it shows that it is a street. And again, I don't put the details, so you just kind of get a sense that it's a sign. So working on the guy, again, I'm doing his clothes, but sometimes they'll be a little bit light, but mostly his skin and the clothes will be, again, maybe a mid values. Put some highlights on his head, but because they're in the shade, they won't have, there's not very much light shining in the front of them. This particular person is completely shaded, so now I'm just going to make a little bit of differentiation between some light parts of what he's wearing, some darks, but the color is pretty similar. And in the end, I decided to do the street in white, creamy white, and keep it very stark, which I kind of liked. So yeah, so this is the end, and I hope you liked this painting. It's a little different than my other ones, but I think it turned out quite nicely. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button below if you don't want to miss out on any new videos. Comment if you have any questions, and I'd be happy to answer them. Like the video and keep watching either the next video on the left or playlist on the right. See you next time.